Today I'm going to be teaching you how to replace hubs and drum brakes on your 2019 Big Tex 50LA, but it probably goes for most utility trailers. Let's get into it. So as you can see, today on Asgard.Offroad, we are going to be replacing this trailer bearing and hub and brake. While we're at it, I have the brakes right here, left and right. Just so happens we have one that's bad on the other side, loose, grinding, not good, and this one actually blew grease everywhere. So let's see if we can't get those replaced. Mr. Goose is over here just getting some sun. It's a beautiful morning here in Central Florida. Like, it's self-explanatory, but obviously first things first is you're going to jack up the trailer on a main frame, and then you're going to use jack stands. That way the wheels that you're going to be working on are up off the ground. Step 2 is going to be using your Ugga Dugga machine to take off these 21mm sockets. It's nice because the new hub kit that comes with the new bearings has new lug nuts as well, so you won't have to reuse anything there. And then the trailer brake kit also comes with new lock washers and nuts for the back of these that mount to the trailer, so that's very nice. So once you get the very greasy wheel off your trailer, next you're going to be left with the drum and the hub. So first things first is we're going to have to take off and knock out this little hubcap. This is the easy grease hub. You just knock this out with a hammer, hit it from all sides, kind of pull on it, and then there will be a castle nut and a cotter pin on the inside that we will remove. For anybody that's wondering, why would you replace it? So it did spin the grease out of this one, so I know the bearings are no good in it, but let's see if I can get it on video and listen to it. So yeah, that's not supposed to sound like that. Also, if your hub sounds like this when you shake it back and forth, that should not move at all. So let's replace them. So after you knock off that center protective, you're going to have to clean this up a little bit. That's nasty. Go ahead and do yourself a favor and get you a whole bunch of these shop rags before you do this job, because it's going to be very nasty. So after cleaning it up, you can see that there's no cotter pin. It's actually this castle nut holding ring. So you're going to want to pop that out with a flathead screwdriver, just as so. Now be careful with this because you might need to use it again. I'm not sure if our new kit comes with it. So after that, this castle nut is what needs to be removed. So actually, I got very lucky. The people that did this before me did it the right way, and it was just hand loose. Yes, that is correct. If you don't believe me, go look it up. This is the Easy Lube trailer axle, like I said, because it does have the part where you can pop it out on the cap. You can pop out that cap and just pump the axle full of grease. Sometimes that doesn't always protect it from sand and dirt and water and everything else getting in there. As you can see, this grease was probably once red, and it is black. So I'm going to go with not good. And now that I have that off, there's a washer in here. We are going to have to reuse that washer. Don't lose that. So once you free it up a little bit, just kind of wiggle it out of there. You're going to need this again, so go ahead and clean it up. Next, we'll be able to remove this whole drum all in one go, and then we should be left with the drum brakes. Very important not to lose this. As you can see, these axles are de-notched right there, which is very specific because it did not come with another one of these, and you will have to put this on after you put on the new hub. All right, so let's see if I can do this with one hand. That bearing's gonna come out. That's fine. Come on. Come on. Be very careful not to damage your actual axle because that is not getting replaced. Come on out. Come on out. Boop. Good thing we're not using that again because now it's in the dirt. So after wiping this off, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all that the magnet was engaging, but the actual shoes didn't engage at all. Those look like they haven't been used in years. There's spider webs in here. I'm really glad we're replacing this whole system because I'm going to go ahead and tell you that this wasn't even working. Also, when you're to this point, go ahead and grab your rag and just clean off all that old grease. You're going to want to inspect the actual axle, which ours looks really good. No signs of heat. So that's very nice. Very important. And now, after looking at it even more, I think this was just staying engaged the entire time and just rubbing on the inside of this and just probably making the trailer harder to pull, which makes me wonder if I need to replace them all. But we're only doing 2 for now. Side note as well, these new brakes are side specific. As you can see, our bracket here that goes to the magnet moves that way. So on this one, same deal. Ours moves that way, which it wasn't locked up, so I guess that's good. So this is the correct one for the passenger side. So along with our hammer and our 21 millimeter impact, we are going to need an 11/16 wrench and some wire cutters, because there's a wire here. It doesn't matter polarity, just cut them both off as close to the drum as possible. And then there's 4 nuts on the back side of this drum. I'm trying to get it to focus. Yeah, okay, hang on. There we go. There's 4 nuts on the back side of this thing that all need to be removed. So let's just get this nasty thing off. So note to self, the bottom 2 studs on the old drum are very, very tight. That's why I have gloves on, because I've been prying and prying and prying. And I'm tired of beating up my knuckles, so I can just see myself loosening it right into that leaf spring. And that's what we're trying to avoid, so stay tuned. Sweet baby Jesus, those bottom ones were tight, even after letting them sit with PB Blaster. So, all right, now it's time to get this off. I even had to use the old double wrench method to get a little extra oomph on it because I didn't have a cheater bar. So here's your real difference. I mean, look at this old one. Nasty, seized up. This is our new one. New style. These are the wires I was talking about. We'll have to strip these back and add new connectors onto these. Like I said, it doesn't really matter polarity. They come out of the axle right there. These are for the brakes. We will get the new brake shoes on, and then we'll wire it up, and then we'll tighten it down. And yeah, as you can see, the axle shaft looks pretty good. I mean, for a 2019 trailer, I bet you these hubs haven't been replaced one time. As you can see under there, crusty, dusty, both of them. Nice. All right, so let's get to it. These old ones look awful, and before you guys are like, oh, you didn't notice that these weren't working, you couldn't tell. Yeah, I could tell, but the difference is that some of them worked and some of them didn't. So when I was going down and pulling it, and I had to slam on the brakes, and it would lock some of them up, but when you're driving, you can't tell with 4 tires which ones are locking up, dummy. Ooh. Anyways, now that that's out of the way, we're going to wire this to these using some solder seal wires, and these are my strippers. So this is a really important part of the video. As you can see, I heat shrinked, and they have the solder in the middle. The wires from the trailer to the new drum brakes, it doesn't matter which polarity goes to which one. They're both going to be active. As you can see, I shove it farther into the axle to make sure it's nice and safe. At this point, I'm showing you that I'm going to be tightening down in a cross pattern. I'm going to start on the top left corner, work my way to the bottom right corner. Just that way it seats down real tight. You know, you don't want it to be crooked. That'll lead to the whole wheel being crooked going down the road, wearing weird on your axle. So as you can see, tightening it down. That's the correct torque spec right there. Real good and tight, real German. Using some high temp red grease, we're going to create a real thin layer on the axle itself, and then we're going to go ahead and pack those bearings and races real full of that grease. That way we prevent any heat from destroying them and having to redo this in the near future. We want this to last many miles as long as we keep up with the grease in them. So as you can see, lots of grease in them. Got that rear bearing in. We're going to put the axle seal in, tap it in, and then once we get that all tapped in, you can go ahead and put the, I guess I call that a rotor. You can go ahead and put the rotor on the actual drum, and then you'll be able to put that little bearing in the front. So as you can see, all tapped in there. Real easy, did not give me a fight at all. We'll just put that on the axle itself, on the drum. Make sure you do not hit the axle, you will damage it, and then, you know, you're going to be here again in another 2 to 5,000 miles. You don't want to do that. There you go. Got the front bearing in. It slid right on. We made sure we didn't hit the axle or anything like that. Make sure it's nice and greased on the inside as well. Up next, it'll be this retaining washer. You're going to want to put the retaining washer up against the little bearing in the kit. Make sure there's no fuzz on it like there just was. Put it up against the little bearing in the kit. Make sure everything's nice and greased. And then you're going to screw on your castle nut, which I'm showing you here. Go ahead and put the castle nut on the threads. There's this very specific way that you have to seat the bearings whenever you're doing new bearings on a trailer, and I do show you this and I will explain it on the voiceover. So that's as tight as it'll go with my hand. I am going to use channel locks to tighten it a quarter turn from tight with my hand, and then I'm going to back it off. And like I said, that is called seating the bearings, and you're going to want to do that on the other side as well. So here's my channel locks. I'm going to tighten it down a quarter turn. Now, as you can see in the video, we have our castle nut retaining clip. It goes a very specific way on the axle. Be sure not to drop it, because then there's going to be dirt and debris in the axle, and you definitely don't want that. So take the channel locks. You're going to back it off, which I already did. Now it's finger tight. You're going to make sure it's just the right balance between finger tight and finger loose. You'll know what I mean. And your retaining clip won't go on unless it's a very specific way. So as you can see, I'm struggling to get it on because I don't have the nut in the correct position. So I will turn it just a little bit, and then usually you'll have to go looser than tight. You don't want it too tight. And then when you push the retaining clip on, it'll just snap on. And I just kind of loosen it just enough to get this clip on. And there you have it. I had to loosen it just a hair, and after that we'll get the cover on. Good to go. So unfortunately, I realized that the video audio stopped recording. So as you can see there, this kit came with a regular cotter pin, and we ended up using what the trailer came with that gold ring there. As you can see, this is the plug, obviously, that I show there, but this keeps all the water and the dirt and the mud from going into your actual wheel bearing itself. And you just have to hammer it in there, and you have to make sure it's center when you're hammering it in there, well, it will not go in. This was the most frustrating part for me. Just grab a 2x4 in your mini sledge, go ahead and give it a couple whacks. Make sure it's in there nice and snug. You don't have to, tighten anything down. After you do that, go ahead and grease it. You're going to want to grease it until grease starts showing up in that silver housing, as I'm pointing to right there. You can't see it, but make sure you spin your hub as you grease it. That way it evenly gets in all the races and all the bearings. Kind of showing you the tools that I use there. Give it a quick spin. Whoosh, there you go. So yeah, you just pop in this black little rubber part. Keeps out all the water, dirt, mud, everything. Now this is the Easy Lube trailer axle, so it does have those little rubber grommets that you can pop out and pop in to re-grease the axle. Now this kit did come with brand new lug nuts, so of course we're going to use them. Just put them on. So this is a 5-lug trailer. You're going to tighten it down in the 5-lug pattern. So you're going to go across lug. You're going to put that stud on, and then you're going to go across and put that stud on, and then you're going to go to the bottom and put that stud on. Just do it in a star pattern and then tighten them down. Obviously you're going to want to tighten them down to the correct torque spec. So this is the correct torque spec for me. You just tighten the heck out of it down with your impact. Give it a couple ugga-duggas. Make sure it's good in German, and you're ready to go and ready to roll. And guys, if you like this video, the best way to support me is by like, comment, subscribe. That way we can do more videos. I am going to be posting our new side-by-side build here soon, so that's going to be very exciting. We are going to put everything that we make from social media back into the buggy, so hopefully we can make some serious money and we can make a serious build.